Hello and welcome to episode 9 of the Nerds at Large Gaming Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Darby Hallman.
And the other host, Jeff Mayo.
And I'm here, and I'm William Outlaw.
And we're welcoming back Will after a few weeks.
Yeah, you're the most recurring guest on this show.
Yes.
I know, everyone. We just can't get rid of him.
Yeah.
What have you been up to, Will, since we talked to you last?
Well, school's out, which has been really nice. Been able to be playing some games, watching some Netflix. So I platinum Transistor during break so far, which has been awesome.
Is this the first time you played Transistor?
No, it's my second playthrough. I actually played it almost exactly a year ago. But I played Bastion not too long ago as well, and that was the first time I played that, and I wanted to get back into Transistor.
Yeah, which one comes first?
Bastion was first.
Bastion was first, okay.
Yep.
Both of those have been on my list that I need to get to eventually.
They're very good games. The narrative, the narration style that they use is really cool. It's unlike another game I played. So
freshman year, my roommate played it, and I was in the room. I heard the soundtrack, and it was just the music.
Oh my gosh.
Wonderful in that game.
Yeah, they're both surprisingly deep games as well. They have a lot of strategic elements. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Well, I haven't been able to play as much as I'd like to, but I've played more Horizon. Talked way too much about that already. We don't need to go into that. But I've also been playing the closed beta for the Gwent game. It's the Witcher card game that they're making a PC, just that for it. And I'm not usually into card games at all, like Hearthstone or any of those. I know that if I let myself get into it, I would. It's not because I don't think they're good. It's just
Fair.
I want to try to hold some bit of my free time available. But I am very into The Witcher, so I wanted to try this one out, and it's free right now. And I'm enjoying it quite a lot. It's they added a bunch of kind of new elements to Gwent, from the main game that makes it worth it, I think, to me. The main game, The Witcher, it's the card game. It's fun. It's a lot more in depth than most video game card games within a game, but it's still kind of simple. But this one actually makes it I could see this being kind of a test of skill with different people, and it's fun being able to play against real people because sometimes the computers in The Witcher were pretty dumb. So that's I highly recommend you check that out, especially if you're into The Witcher. I mean, I think you can enjoy it either way.
So how long is it free on PS4? Do you know?
It's only on PC right now.
Oh, okay.
I actually don't. I probably should have looked. I actually don't know when it's coming out or where all it's coming out. But
I want to say I heard PS4 at some point.
Jeff will look that up, but I know at least right now it's just PC, and this is just a closed beta. I think you can still sign up for the beta. Actually, I think that ends very soon. Maybe by the time you hear this, it might be over.
Huh. Okay.
But it should the beta's been going on a while, so I'm guessing the game shouldn't be too far away. But did you find it?
It looks like starting on May 24th, there's going to be an open beta on PS4, Xbox One, and PC.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Nice.
So yeah, probably
when they hear this.
Yeah, sometime this week or around when you hear this, you should be able to do that.
Yeah. I don't know if it says how long it's going to be up. No. It says it's going to be an open beta, test everything.
Okay.
I haven't played a lot of The Witcher 3, but I did enjoy Gwent when I was able to play it.
It's surprising. It's just surprisingly fun game. I played The Witcher for so long and never touched it because there's just so much to do, and it's I'm not gonna play this card game. But someone finally convinced me to, and once you start, it's actually really fun.
I had a friend that literally played Witcher and just played Gwent. That's all he did in that game.
Well, now he has a game completely dedicated to it.
Standalone.
It's actually very cool because you can just go town to town and play people in Gwent and collect cards and stuff, and it's kind of a melding. I did that for multiple hours of playing The Witcher. It was almost the fact that you had to actually ride your horse from town to town was pretty cool. It was I mean, this is a topic for another day, but Witcher 3 is just a fantastic game all around. The fact that the card game within it is now its own thing, it's pretty insane.
Yeah, play a good, easy why not easy spin-off for them to do.
Yeah,
They have
I
a
think
good
it
bit
was
laid
just
out.
they weren't planning on doing it, but people wanted it so much. They're like, yeah, sure.
I'd love a physical edition of that game.
They do have that.
Do they?
Actually, yeah. I think it's. I
A
don't
little special edition or something.
Yeah, I don't know if they like have openly made a ton of them,
Okay,
but
yeah.
I know there were at least some.
Man,
there were some.
I would like to play that.
That would be cool. I would like to try that. But Jeff, have you played anything of note?
I played some Injustice 2. Not much.
Hey,
But it's finally here, Jeff.
Yep.
Injustice.
Finally.
What do you
Yep.
think so far?
Liking it a lot. I suck at it, but yeah.
I mean, that's to be expected.
Yep.
Is it a good story?
So far, yeah, I won't go into it now, but there's something I'm kind of about at the beginning, but feel better about it as the story's gone on. But I'm only halfway through. No, obviously not going to say them now because spoilers.
Yeah. But I mean, you did. I think I remember you at one of these podcasts saying that was like the video game story you were looking forward to most.
Yeah.
Is that still holding up to you so far?
Yeah. I think, well, admittedly, part of that was partly because the comics are kind of tied into it, so I was also looking forward to that.
Right.
I probably should have stated that better. The comics were also tied into that statement
Yeah.
somewhat.
Yeah. Well, I played a little bit of Injustice with them, very little, and I'm also very bad at it. But I'm loving all the different, like, the kind of variety within the characters. Really cool. It seems like for whatever your play style, there's someone. Like, there's the Dr. Fate who's just weird and, like, kind of like a...
Zoner. Zoner.
Yeah.
With a bunch of traps.
And then there's, like, Swamp Thing, big dude, and there's...
Seems to have a lot of grappling.
I'm definitely right now leaning towards Catwoman and Cheetah, which is not surprising at all. I like the fast characters like that.
I'm really liking Black Canary. I need to try out all the other new characters and I guess revisit the old ones. I haven't had much time to really go into each character.
Yeah.
But I'm also enjoying the multiverse, the other regular single player mode they have right now.
Yeah, what's that like? I haven't really been able to do that.
You kind of get a bunch of different, I guess kind of like the Living Tower things in Mortal Kombat X. Each thing is timed and it varies. A bunch of varying levels. You go in and you fight some computers with a bunch of different gear and a bunch of different things to go on. Like one tower thing I did, it threw a bunch of hearts on the field that you can grab. The one I did like not long before this, you couldn't dash. Stuff like that. And it's a good way to grind gear, it looks like.
There you go.
And the gear you get, based on the level I played, focused on the character you're playing as, because when I was playing with Black Canary on there, I got a whole lot of Black Canary gear.
Is that the main way that you get gear in the game?
I need to play with it around some more, but it seems like so far, as far as like the single player goes, there's like an arcade mode pretty much that you probably get a good bit of gear from. And I realized quickly you need to work on your gear to do well in that.
Yeah.
So
Unless you're really
are
good.
you collecting gear pretty fast?
I'd say so. I mean, based on what I'm doing, I haven't done too much other than story mode, which you don't get a crazy amount of gear for. You get a bunch of credits and stuff for it though,
Yeah.
to get them loot boxes.
Loot box.
Which is probably not actually called Loot Box, but
No, it's called Mother Box.
But
Sponsored by Loot Box.
after Overwatch, everything is a loot box to me now. It's just
Yeah, I figured if I said that people understand it, but then just me saying Mother Box.
That's a very DC term.
Yes.
They wouldn't understand.
I don't think I would understand.
Exactly.
I would be pretty confused. By
You might hear Box be like, "Is that a loot box?"
Yeah, I don't know what I think when I think of Mother Box, but it's probably not a loot box.
Nope.
It's the name of my computer's hard drive. Fun fact, Mother Box. That's pretty nerdy.
Yep.
All right, well, I believe that's it. Otherwise, I'll just start rambling on about Horizon again for another.
Yep. And we got a lot of news this week, guys.
Yeah, we got too much to let me do that.
Yep.
All right, Jeff, start with the news jingle.
Jingle, jingle, jingle.
I'm gonna make it a
Jingle.
thing until we get an actual jingle. I'm gonna
Please,
make
people, stop the madness.
All right, what we got, Jeff?
Okay, first thing is pretty big, and unfortunately, we're probably not the type of people to talk about this, but we're gonna do it anyway.
Yeah, that's what we do here.
That's what we do.
We talk about things we're not qualified to talk about.
Yep. All this information comes from Marty Sleva and Joe Scrubbles from IGN. At the official reveal event, Bungie dropped the first Destiny 2 gameplay trailer. The dramatic footage showcased the invasion of the last city led by Cabal Red Legion commander Dominus Gall and feature notable characters Cade 6, Ikora, and Zavala. It also highlights new weapons, locations, and supers. Also, we're not going to go deep into it because we are not the most knowledgeable about Destiny overall, so we wouldn't be able to compare it to the last game, but they released a whole bunch of multiplayer details as well. So, if you're interested in that, go look at IGN, Kotaku, about everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah. But there's some other news we can kind of discuss. There's also announced Destiny will run at a 4K resolution on PS4 Pro, but will be locked to 30 frames per second because of CPU constraints. Speaking to IGN, game director Luke Smith confirmed that it will not run at 60 frames per second on the Pro. I don't want people to continue to hope. We're going to be matter-of-fact about that stuff. The PS4 Pro is super powerful, but it couldn't run our game at 60, he added. Our game's rich physics simulation? Our game's is rich physics simulation.
That is a hard...
Yeah.
That's a weird quote.
Yeah. With collision and players, networking, etc. It run, not enough horsepower there yet. Project lead Mark Noseworthy, great name.
Is that his name?
Yes.
Okay.
If it is not, blame IGN. Explained that while the GPU is powerful enough to render at 4K, it was the CPU that was to blame for the lower frame rate. Also, the PC version of the game may not launch. Or it may launch after it launched on September 8th on PS4 and Xbox One. So PC version is probably not going to come out on September 8th.
Yeah.
With the other ones. When asked by PC Gamer to clarify a date, game director Luke Smith said, "We haven't committed to a PC date yet. At Bungie, we are totally committed to making the PC build as great as we can. And we want to make sure the version of the game has the time it needs to bake in the oven so it's a delicious piece of bread when it comes out."
It's a good metaphor.
That is an excellent quote. Like, that's one way to just distract the PC gamers from being mad at you is just start talking about bread.
Bread. So yeah, again, important to note, there was a big reveal event for this, like mentioned earlier, with a whole lot more information than we're saying.
Yeah.
So, and honestly, if you're really interested in that, you probably already know all this stuff.
You probably do.
Well, Mesa for the PS4 Pro and the PC thing.
Yeah.
You might have missed that.
Which, I mean, it does... I always kind of feel sorry for PC gamers. It seems like this happens a lot, where they get the short end of the stick.
They're not getting Injustice 2 as far as we know.
They also get
yeah.
super cheap games on Steam and stuff. So it's fine.
That is true. Those Steam sales make up for everything.
Somewhat, at least.
But Will, you're the only one of us that has any experience really with Destiny. So, I mean, where's your hype level?
I tweeted out during the reveal. I was like, I know nothing of Destiny lore at this point, but after 5 minutes of watching the gameplay, I was in already again. So, I mean, I love Bungie gunplay. Just their all-around gameplay is really cool, and with the addition of hopefully a better single player, then I'm totally down with it. So I'll probably get it when it launches.
Nice. I have a feeling you're not alone with not knowing Destiny lore.
Yeah, if there is even any, I don't know.
Like, when I played at the very beginning for just a tiny bit, there was none.
Yeah.
At least not in the game. There was pretty much none.
Well,
I know that's changed so much since then.
I played Destiny for like a little more than a year, and I know that there were a whole bunch of content packages after that probably expounded on it. But yeah, I mean, like the first year there was nothing.
Yeah.
So.
But how does the 30 frames per second thing bother you at all?
I'm not really bothered by that. I don't even have a PS4 Pro, so I guess it wouldn't affect me. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, in some games, I think the 60 frame per second thing can actually be a pretty big deal, but it doesn't kill me like it kills some people. I don't think.
I was just thinking. It says it's locked at 30 frames per second for the PS4 Pro. Unless there's something else. I don't know if they said anything about the regular PS4.
Yeah, I know that's strange.
Yeah, if it's for the Pro, I'm sure it's for. They were probably just saying that because people might have expected it to run at 60.
I know, but
that would be weird if.
I'm gonna still fear the people. What if it's not locked at 30 frames per second? They're dips in the regular version.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's where I was getting at.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, that would suck.
I mean, obviously, I don't know. I'm just saying, like,
and
based on what we have here.
One thing, kind of jumping ahead, and it's kind of a different topic, but this type of thing makes me think, like, one way, we're going to be talking a lot about like how the Scorpio could like improve on things and what could sell the Scorpio. I wonder if we're going to start seeing a lot of games where it can't run at 60 on any of the PlayStation versions, but it does on the Scorpio.
Yeah.
Like, what if Destiny 2 and games like this, Microsoft can say, like, yep, 60 frames per second here, but the Pro's not powerful enough to do that.
I didn't put it on here because I thought, it was not really worth putting in there, but the IGN article did say, we have no idea how it runs on the Scorpio. They pointed that out, so.
They didn't say
how it would go.
Like, for me, and I think for a lot of people, that alone wouldn't be enough, obviously, to sell me on the Scorpio. Some people it would, but that's definitely, that would be a big step. That would be another big thing you could put in marketing stuff.
Yeah, like if you're the type of person who has a PC and or doesn't care about first parties in general, just care about third parties, Scorpio would be the way to go. Then, if you care about power in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. The Scorpion might not also not be able to do that.
I might also saw that Bungie said, like, after this, we can't talk about Scorpio stuff until Xbox or Microsoft completely reveals it and everything.
Yeah, so a few weeks.
And that doesn't mean good or bad. That just makes business sense. That
they're keeping it on their own.
Yeah, they can't talk.
Yeah. So I mean, that's interesting. But I think this game's going to sell so well. This game's probably going to explode. I think.
Trying to think, it'd definitely be one of, if not the top selling game of the year. The other games you can say be more, but this will definitely be up there.
Yeah, and especially with it being on, it's a lot. That's the thing. A lot of the big games that people are talking about, like, or at least maybe not a lot, but at least like Horizon and Zelda and stuff. That neither of them are showing up as high as you would think they would on sales stuff because they're exclusives. Something like Destiny that goes everywhere. It's just Yeah.
That and this and Battlefront should be like, and Call of Duty
and Red Dead if it comes out this year.
Yeah. Yeah, three of those games that definitely are fighting for the top spot for sales this year.
Yeah. And Call of Duty World War II, because that's usually what happens. Yeah. But okay, Destiny 2.
Okay, on to the next story. This comes from Don't Nod on Square Enix website. Yeah. If you're reading this, you've likely already heard or watched the news. We reach over 3 million unique paying players, and this is in reference to Life is Strange. It's an incredible achievement and one we could not have reached without you, our fantastic community. You help spread positive words about our game and have continually kept the world interested in what happens next. We also revealed a key piece of information that many of you have been waiting some time for now. We can indeed confirm that the original Life is Strange team at Don't Nod are working on a brand new Life is Strange game. We can't wait to tell you all about it when the time is right. But for now, we are hard at work ensuring it is the very best game we can create. We're really thankful for your patience thus far and ask for a bit more time. The new game will not be at E3 in June this year, but we will be watching the show alongside you all and wish everyone good luck.
So, no surprise that they're working on that, but I'm still awesome to hear it directly from them. I know me and Jeff both played Life is Strange. I love it. It's a really like fun game, episodic like story.
Is it a like walking simulator or what?
Yeah, it's like that kind of thing. It's
Gone Home-esque.
Well, it's in third person. I mean,
actually, I would actually say it's more closer to like Telltale type.
Yeah,
thing.
Definitely.
I think it has more like environmental story things than Telltale does, so it's kind of like a merging of the two. But it's more of like you make a bunch of choices, and
so very adventure game.
Yeah.
Right.
It's Telltale, but it looks tremendously better.
I'm interested. I mean,
like I told you, get a physical copy if you want to borrow it.
I probably will.
And it's one of those like it's one of those that's not gonna be for everyone. Like it's because it tells the story like it's from like a high school girl's perspective and stuff, and like it has a lot of like the problems and struggles of being that age and everything, which is very interesting because I feel like we don't see that a lot in games, that perspective or whatever. And it's a very like charming and endearing game and everything, but it's not going to be for everyone.
Yeah, and just from this kind of media in general, you don't see as much as from like a kind of nerdy high school girl.
I've heard people talk about that, and like some people have like reached out to them and they were like, this game meant so much to me because it tackles like anxiety and depression and stuff like that, and from this perspective that we really don't see often. So it's very cool that they're going there, and that like it like Life is Strange has a very like dedicated fan base. Like it sold well, but even beyond that, the people that are into it are really into it. So definitely excited to see a second one. I really hope it goes to different characters. I think we've talked about that before. I hope it goes to a different like area. Like I would like just like a separated.
I'm sure you are, but just be careful what you say, because
yeah.
And so
She's
just
dead.
No.
I feel like the most exciting thing is actually that they just went out and said that it's not going to be at E3, so don't get your hopes up.
That's nice. And instead of the video, they started working on it as soon as the physical version of the game came out. So at least not they're just starting on it.
Yeah.
So I am excited, and we will definitely talk about that when there's more news about the game. Okay, next story. This comes from Miranda Sanchez and Joe Scrubbles from IGN. Blizzard is celebrating Overwatch's first anniversary with a new seasonal event, another free weekend, and a digital Game of the Year edition of Overwatch. The Overwatch anniversary event begins on Tuesday, May 23rd, so it's probably already started by the time you're listening to this, and ends Monday, June 12th. Blizzard will announce additional event details at a later time, so they're probably going to do that soon. It starts in like 3 days.
Probably very soon.
Yeah. The free weekend runs from May 26th to May 29th, so a week from now. And new players that participate will have access to the full game, including the ability to level up and unlock customization items. Any progress made over the free weekend can transfer to a purchased copy. Then Overwatch Game of the Year Edition comes out on Tuesday, May 23rd. So that'll probably be out when you listen to this. For PC, Xbox One, and PS4 digitally, and will replace the Origins Edition. The Overwatch Game of the Year Edition includes all the same bonus items found in the Origins Edition, with the exception of the Game of the Year Edition is 10 loot boxes when you start. And that's not all the Overwatch news. Several Overwatch Twitter accounts have uploaded a new video revealing that the game will add at least 3 new maps as part of its anniversary celebration event, and they may be hinting at a new mode too. The maps appear to be set in new areas of existing. I don't know how to pronounce it. Eichenwald.
I took 3 years in German. I should be able to. Eichenwald. I mean,
we'll go with that. Temple of Anubis and Dorado maps. It's official, guys.
Sorry, Germany.
In a tweet, the official Overwatch Twitter account referred to the maps as arena maps. The use of arena maps is interesting, as it's not a term that's been widely used before. It may be that these are maps designed for the game's 1v1 and 3v3 modes. Since it released last year, those modes have only featured one map, Echo Point, Antarctica. A blog post did once refer to Echo Point as an arena map, but a data mine last year appeared to point to arena being an entirely new, still unseen mode.
The hype is real.
Yeah.
We need more. Like I think me and Jeff both love the 1v1 and 3v3 modes in Overwatch. So to have more of those, I'm kind of tired of going to Antarctica every single time.
Yeah, that's something that'll definitely get me more back. Like I can get us back to doing that, because me, you, and Alex love doing that, and we did good at it.
Yeah, it's fun. It completely it kind of changes the game. You have to strategically go.
Also, at the same time, I want to be against a new mode, but they had
that. I mean, that too. That's what I love about this game, is it's just constantly growing. Like the game is so much different than it was when it started out. I mean, it started out good, but it's just they just keep adding on more and more, and I haven't given them any more money. So it's
this seems to be something that's growing, or at least being successful when it's done.
No,
because Overwatch's done it. Splatoon did for Nintendo. We'll talk about it more later. They're doing it now with ARMS. So this is something that seems to be working for people.
Yeah.
So hopefully this is something we see continue, that kind of format as far as releasing content.
Yeah. And I think the Game of the Year thing, I was wondering when I even heard there was a Game of the Year edition for Overwatch, I was thinking, what would it be? Because usually the Game of the Year would have DLC or something.
Yeah.
Overwatch, everything's free. I have everything that they've put out, so I was wondering what it would be. Skins, loot boxes, I mean, that makes sense.
Well, I mean, all the skins, I didn't put them all here because there's a bunch of random stuff for a bunch of different games that, you could already get before.
Yeah.
Um,
But at least that's like if someone has heard the hype about Overwatch,
Yeah.
which has been pretty consistent ever since it released, if they're just getting into it, this would kind of like catch them up, like not skill wise, like with the
Yeah.
you could get in there and immediately have all these skins and loot boxes and stuff, and it's a cool way to just bring
Yeah,
someone into
and it makes sense because they've had the name Origin Edition for a year, so I get why they want to change the Game of the Year Edition because it just looks better.
Yeah, because now it's almost like a year since that the Origin.
exactly a year, yeah.
Oh yeah, the anniversary.
It's
yeah.
kind of funny because I actually am more interested in getting the Origins edition now because I feel like it will be cheaper than the Game of the Year. And since everything's
Are they
free,
going to continue? So yeah, I mean, I guess they might. In
I don't
like
know.
GameStops and stuff. Yeah, I know what you mean though.
I mean, the only thing you've been missing out on is 10 loot boxes, so
yeah.
unless you're like really into free skins,
yeah.
that, well, you may or may not get. Yeah.
If there's a price difference, then yeah, 100% get the
Yeah.
Origins because
Yeah.
if you're not actually getting any like
Anything
characters
less.
or
Yeah.
areas or anything like that. It's literally just skins.
Yeah.
So
Okay, important to note, I don't know if you guys caught on to this, but it seems like the Game of the Year Edition, at least according to this story, is only releasing digitally.
Okay. So the physical edition
Will
will still be
still
Origins.
Origins.
interesting. I didn't
Because like we said, there's not really much of a difference, and it's replacing the Origins edition.
Right.
on the store.
on
Yeah.
the store.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, not much to say, but
I honestly don't expect them, especially digitally, to change the price of the game, really, because it's just 10 loot boxes.
yeah, they really should.
It'd be weird if they went
They
up.
should.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really should.
They'll probably just change the name and be like, hey, we have a
Yeah.
new fancier name that makes us look better.
Yeah, they might even like. Yeah, I mean, like, I wonder if you bought it physically and you did it, if you would get the loot boxes, like if you had just bought it. I'm not sure how
Good
that
point.
would work, but
I have no idea.
they might just make it like when you put in the Origins. I probably shouldn't say that because I don't know if that would be the case,
Yeah.
but either way, the most you'd lose is 10 loot boxes. It's not. a
Yeah,
big
I mean,
deal.
again, I think they're doing it the right way.
Yeah.
Not adding something crazy that you can't get if you bought the game a year ago.
Right.
Because they have such a big dedicated fan base, you don't want to make them upset over something stupid.
Yeah.
Since it's so successful, do you think there will be an Overwatch 2 before the next console generation?
That's kind of the question.
Oh, before the next console generation? No.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably not.
Maybe next console
Well,
generation.
the question is like, will they ever? Like, is
Yeah,
there
that's what
even
I'm
a
wondering.
point to do
I mean,
it?
they've done World of Warcraft and stuff for
Yeah.
Yeah,
forever.
and that's what kind of what this seemed like. I mean, like because like, again, like I said, the game is like completely different from when it launched, and they have no signs of stopping. They could just keep supporting this game.
I mean,
Definitely.
and just from a character standpoint, like, what do you do with that to make it interesting, to make it worth a sequel? Do you change a bunch of characters? Can they really add a bunch more? Do they replace heroes, which would upset the fan base because the fan base loves these characters?
But you can't
Yeah.
you can't replace.
I
you
mean,
can't take any out in this game. Maybe.
Darby, as an Overwatch character or fan,
Yeah.
there are really many characters you think people would be okay with.
No.
I mean, pretty much every character has a fan base.
And that's what's so weird. That's what's like seems so different about Overwatch compared to even other fighting games. Is it like Injustice? There's
Yeah.
like characters got taken out, and like yeah, we're disappointed in some, but it's like yeah, that's just how it goes. That wouldn't with Overwatch. It'd be like, no, that was part of my team. Like you switch around because you don't, for the most part, like you don't really. Overwatch is not a game where like everyone chooses the same characters all the time. You just do that. You have to kind of choose characters to adapt to whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's weird because like it seems like everything I can think of that they would do for Overwatch 2 is kind of already what they're doing for free now. So it's almost like you kind of dug yourself a hole. It's hard to ask people to buy another one. I mean, I would do it eventually because like I want them to keep doing this. And I want to keep playing it.
I think you could safely say you got your money's worth for this game.
And times 10, yeah. I mean, yeah, I've played so much of it, and it's like I usually don't even get into multiplayer shooters, and even when I was like flirting with buying it, I was like, I'm not really into this. Why do I want this game? And then my roommate got it, and I was like, all right, fine, I'll get it, and now I just play it constantly.
Yeah, and for the argument of them during New Game, I think a bunch of people will not be happy about starting over as far as like with their gear and loot and stuff.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah, with all the skins they got and all the money they spent on that.
Yeah, so we have a friend who's like obsessed with getting all the loot boxes and stuff, and if they just took all of her skins and stuff away, that would not be good.
I'm surprised at how well the Destiny community managed that. because I mean they're doing it all new.
True.
It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I know some people weren't happy about that. I mean, yeah, I think it could happen. I think, I guess, eventually, money-wise, they might have to do an Overwatch 2. They might not make enough money on it or something.
Yeah,
or higher-ups might demand one, you know.
But as of right now, there's absolutely no reason for them to do them anytime soon.
No, right now, no. So, that'll be... I could see it either way, honestly.
Yeah. Okay,
But try the free weekend if you have not played this game, by the way. Definitely.
I think I will.
Try that. Definitely try that.
I guess then let us know if you are, and maybe we can play with you.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Do you have PS4?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Trophies, yeah. Cool. We can try that. Okay. Next story. This comes from James Vincent from The Verge, and this will make Darby a very happy boy.
I am cautiously a very happy boy.
Dude, it's Netflix. It'll be fun.
Yeah, Netflix is reportedly developing and producing a TV series based on the popular Polish fantasy franchise, The Witcher.
Yes.
Hey.
Filmmaker Tobek Benginski, best known for the Oscar-nominated animated short The Cathedral, is also involved, along with Jarek Sacco. Both Benginski and Sacco, I have a feeling I'm pronouncing the second one wrong. This feels weird. Belong to Polish visual effects studio Platige Image, which was responsible for the CGI intros for the Witcher video games. Benginski was previously announced as the director of a film version of The Witcher, but will now direct an episode of the TV series. And author...
You got this.
Andrzej Sapkowski is serving as creative consultant on this series.
I've read 3 of his books. I've never even tried them.
Sapkowski. The last name's easy. First name's not.
When you throw a Z in there, it gets hard.
Yeah. And CD Projekt Red, the developer of the Witcher video game series, is not involved. It should be noted that the game series serves as a sequel to the novels, so there may not be any overlaps between the two narratives.
Yeah. So I like the potential that this has is crazy. I mean,
Game of Thrones. New Game of Thrones.
I mean, this is for real though. Like everyone's like kind of looking what's going to be the next Game of Thrones, and so many like production people like are wanting to like go down that vein and like pick up where Game of Thrones left off. This is really one that could do it, especially since it has Netflix behind it. It has such a
it feels like Fox or something.
I wouldn't even bother getting hyped for it. But the fact that Netflix doesn't really do bad stuff or not bad quality things, you know, they put a lot of effort usually into.
Especially it seems like with their, I guess bigger projects like this when it's kind of licensed stuff. They seem just like do what you need to do.
Yeah. And like I'm new into the Witcher thing. I mean, I'm very excited. I'm like kind of invested in the lore like everyone else, but I'm kind of new into it. I went game to book, like I think a lot of people do. The author doesn't like when the
Americans
do that.
anyway do that.
yeah. But there was a whole thing where Sapkowski like kind of was crapping on the games and stuff, and like he was like bitter about the fact that the games were more popular than his books and stuff. And I'm like, all right, get over yourself. but it's a really, really cool world. I'm interested to see like what direction they go with this though, because like there are like the Witcher books. I'm in the process of reading them. There are like short stories that it's kind of like every short story, Geralt's like a monster hunter. So like every story, like he's kind of like hunting a monster. There's kind of like a pattern to them or whatever, but obviously they go in weird, like a lot of like shenanigans happen and all this different stuff. But it's kind of like a monster of the week type thing where it's like every story is kind of its contained thing like that. It might have an overarching thing, and it does, but they're kind of like vignettes like that. And then there's also Witcher books that tell one continuous story. So I'm interested to see what direction the show will go. If it's going to do that, like you could pick up any episode and watch it because it's kind of a contained thing, or if it's just going to be a series.
It'd be cool if they kind of do like the Sherlock route, where it's like this episode stands alone, but it does lead up to something bigger.
Yeah.
Or X-Files lore type of stuff too. I don't know.
I think that's the thing. Yeah, it's kind of like we were saying, do monster of the week type things, but maybe having an overarching plot. I'm saying this as somebody who doesn't know much about or anything about Witcher story. Overarching plot that goes throughout the season, because I've seen plenty of shows that make that work well.
I think that would be the way to go, because like a lot of times I don't really like the monster of the week thing, but I think Witcher handles it really well. and I'd like to see them balance that. It's kind of random, but it also kind of like Cowboy Bebop does that. Like you can pick up any Cowboy Bebop episode and watch it, and you understand it. But then every now and then there'll be an episode that ties together this whole thing, and it could be interesting.
That's my random TV show that I feel like does this very well. iZombie, such a good show. It kind of does that case of the week, and then overarching story. Does that really well. Recommend it.
Yeah. So if you definitely, I think it's in good hands. It is a little weird that it's the guy who did CGI intros is now directing a part at least an episode of a Netflix show. It's I don't know if he's qualified, but I'm sure
says he's a filmmaker.
They know what they're doing. I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how easy it is to get in for this people to get into this if they don't really play the games or read.
And that's why I'm fascinated. I want to watch it with you because I want me to be someone who's kind of invested in it, and you to be a newcomer and see if we both.
So what you're telling me is I can't play Witcher 3 until this comes out?
No, you're welcome to play Witcher 3.
I probably won't get to it.
What are we thinking? 2019 on this?
Oh, yeah, I doubt
Or further.
They probably haven't even started it yet.
Yeah.
I don't really know how long it usually takes to make this type of thing, but I'm guessing earliest kind of later in 2018 is.
One would assume there's going to be a good amount of CGI, so
probably. Yeah. There's lots of monsters.
Yeah, and since starting from the ground up, it'll take longer than I guess we're used to once we kind of already started watching a show.
Yeah,
they do it every year. They got to start from the ground up.
Yeah, that's true.
They'll probably do a pilot and stuff for Netflix, and it could get canceled for that. Who knows?
But I could see this is something that, especially because of the Monster of the Week type thing, and how many different characters there are in this universe, and how expansive it is. This could be something that could go on for a while. I think. And it could be a big thing if they have it. I'm interested to see how it'll do, since it seems to be basing more of the books than the games. I'm interested to see if the people who just play the games will enjoy it just as much. Because they're different. They're similar but different. So
yeah, be interested to see, because this could be a huge hit for Netflix if done right.
Yeah, and I don't know. I'm definitely excited. And I guess going by the kind of funny logic, Steve Harvey to play Geralt, right?
Yes. Yep. You make a great girl.
Let's be honest. I didn't watch whenever they talked about this. I know they did. They probably brought that up.
Oh yeah.
I don't think they did on the morning show, but they probably will. They probably will bring it up. I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, I know there's a lot of sexual intercourse in this.
Yes, lots.
Luckily, Netflix is pretty free about that. So, or I mean, just that kind of stuff in general, like the gore and everything. So,
how you say that? This would make more sense as an HBO show, wouldn't it?
Netflix is also pretty cool about letting people do that.
Which, if you're
so what I'm getting at is it's better it's on Netflix or HBO than, like you mentioned, Fox.
Yeah, or even FX. I mean, FX has had some great things, but it wouldn't be the same.
Yeah.
Still be.
Yeah.
And or we don't have Walking Dead censoring dumb things. I'm glad it's not ABC either. But
honestly, Walking Dead would actually be a lot better on Netflix or HBO. Now that you say that, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah. I was gonna say something else, but I don't remember what it is. But I don't know. I'm excited.
Me too. Only played Witcher 2, but I love that universe. So.
I really think that if they do this right, if you don't like it, then I think they did it wrong. It's not that you are not familiar with the source material, because this is the type of thing you should be able to just be dropped in.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Witcher 3, I didn't play Witcher 2 or Witcher 1 or read the novels. I knew nothing, and that game just kind of throws you into the world, and I was immediately interested, even though I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, they can't make this series expecting people to have played the games or read the books, but in the case where you said about the author, he probably doesn't care about the people who played the games necessarily or whatever in that. So you shouldn't have to have read the books to get like the series. Or like you said, it's a failure on their part.
I agree.
Okay, move on to the next story. This comes from Jason Schreier from Kotaku. The Mass Effect franchise has been put on hiatus for the time being, with no work being done on an immediate follow-up to this year's Mass Effect Andromeda. Andromeda's developer, BioWare Montreal, has been turned into a support studio. Last month, a number of BioWare Montreal employees were transferred to the Studio EA Motive, also based in Montreal, to work on Star Wars Battlefront 2. Those remaining at BioWare Montreal will help support BioWare's other games, including the new intellectual property codenamed Dylan, which we expect the company to announce at E3. BioWare Montreal will also continue to patch and support Andromeda's multiplayer. BioWare released this statement. Our team at BioWare and across EA put in tremendous effort bringing Mass Effect Andromeda to players around the world, even as BioWare continues to focus on the Mass Effect Andromeda community and live service. We are constantly looking at how we're prepared for the next experiences we will create. The teams in EA Worldwide Studios are packed with talent, and more than ever, we are driving collaboration between studios on key projects. With BioWare and Motive teams sharing studio space in Montreal, we have BioWare team members joining Motive projects that are underway. We're also ramping up teams on other BioWare projects in development. There will be much more to come from BioWare in the years ahead.
So I guess that's how bad it was with Mass Effect Andromeda. I guess is what it's.
Important to note, I saw this story somewhere. I think it was in here. They did say like they are going to have people still continue working on Andromeda to fix the problems and do updates.
Yeah, they're still Montreal's still patching and stuff, but
yeah. So not like and this is the way Andromeda is. Yeah. Like the story may make it sound.
No, but I think the original plans was definitely to probably continue on with Mass Effect. I mean, I think this is obviously a result of how shaky all of this was.
Yeah.
And it's just it's crazy. Like I never would have expected. I would have expected going into this year that Mass Effect's going to be the biggest game of the fall.
I
mean the Q1. Yeah.
The saddest thing about it is that obviously Mass Effect is built upon iterations. Like the next one taking all your choices from the last game and
that's
stuff.
That's their thing.
And if that's just not, if there's not going to be a sequel to Andromeda in the next few years, okay, so that's just how it ends. It's so weird.
And did you actually finish Andromeda?
I haven't played.
Did you back out? That's what a lot of people have.
I'm still going to finish it at some point, but I haven't played it anymore. Which I'm a pretty huge Mass Effect fan, so I guess that tells you something. But I don't hate it, but it is pretty lukewarm in my mind right now. So
it's just crazy how this is from Mass Effect 3, which I know it's very controversial. Some people are fine with it. Some people absolutely hate it. But either way, it had a lot more controversy, a lot more negative press around it and stuff than Mass Effect 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then now it's just from 3 to Andromeda, and to now it's gone. Yeah. And Mass Effect was one of the biggest biggest names out there, and it's just crazy. It seems how fast it's just gone downhill.
Yeah, I mean, last year this time people would be so excited about Andromeda.
That was one of the games I actually and I heard more about that than almost anything. And I knew friends who don't even play games really. They're just so into Mass Effect.
Yeah. I mean, part of me is hoping that maybe it's just that BioWare Montreal isn't going to be making the next one, but it makes it sound like there's just no follow up at all in the frame.
And that's just kind of the I don't know. That's just the tone I get from EA and stuff. Is just kind of this was a disaster, and we need to cut our losses and move on, because they're already talking about other projects and stuff like that.
I'm excited for Project Dylan, whatever it is.
I love this Dylan. I hope that ends up meaning something that we're.
It's the Andromeda sequel.
Mass Effect Dylan. There's this dude named Dylan that you have to.
Yep. You actually don't get to create characters this time. You just play as Dylan.
It's just Dylan, and he's just really, really fat. Wears a shirt that just comes up to here. He's just dirty and greasy. And
yes. And he's the janitor on all these ships. You actually play through every game with Dylan.
Oh, really? He's in all of them?
Yeah.
Didn't even realize.
Yeah.
He was there the whole time.
Even from what I know of Andromeda, it doesn't make any sense. It still makes sense.
Cool.
Well, I mean, I'm guessing this has to make you sad, because I know you're really into.
Yeah.
You've really.
I mean,
loved
like I
this
said,
series.
I think the main thing that saddens me is just whatever choices I do make in Andromeda, nothing's going to come out of it for the next few years at least. So that is pretty sad. But
yeah, and then when you get to the next game does come out and the choices do matter for you, be like, what'd I say?
Yeah.
The what I happen to do that I can't remember actually.
Yeah, it seems one you have to have that at least somewhat close to the other one to still people to really care. I mean, and if it trades developers too, that seems weird.
And it could even I mean, realistically, be on the next console generation, which is really weird. Like,
No.
Andromeda 2 coming out on, I don't know. Weird.
PS5, whatever,
Yeah,
Xbox.
if the next console generation is even a
Mumbo
thing.
jumbo.
They might just restart Mass Effect again. Like restart another trilogy by the time they make one, and this one might just kind of be lost to time. Which is again crazy. This was gonna be one of the biggest games, and now I'm
weird.
literally talking about how it might just get lost to time. Like we might not even talk about this.
I wouldn't, not have believed that.
Yeah.
Someone had told me.
It's back to the end of the year. It'd be all these Game of the Year conversations, but
Yeah.
It's not gonna be in any. Like,
oh no, it's that maybe brought up as a joke.
That's it. Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, I've kind of felt like Square Enix leaving IO with Hitman was kind of weird. But this is like way more than that. This is like BioWare's main property, and they're just saying, no, I'm not gonna do anything.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, this one almost, like, sadly, kind of makes more sense because at least Hitman seemed like it was a clean game that everyone didn't really have.
Everyone
problems.
liked.
This was just like mired in controversy the entire time.
Yeah, Hitman seemed like it was gaining popularity as time went on, like word of mouth kept on spreading.
Yeah.
One of those kind of games.
And I do think to a point, I think Andromeda was kind of treated, like, it was a little hyperbolic, everything that was going on, I think, just from looking from the outside. And I think, like, this game had, like, crazy expectations. I mean, granted, you slap the Mass Effect name on it, you know it's coming with expectations. You know that when you're making it, but still.
Yeah.
It's just strange. I mean, I think the game, like, even though it was delayed so much, it was still seemed, I think it was rushed.
I think it's strange because obviously, like, Assassin's Creed announced their year-long hiatus last year, and that was fine. Like, that was good for.
I think everyone was like, "Yeah, good.
Yeah.
We need that. Like, you needed to go."
But for them to be saying like this is almost like an indefinite hiatus, that just sounds bad.
And like right on the tail end of all the negative stuff about Andromeda, it just leaves me with like, okay, Mass Effect's done for the foreseeable future. Like,
I guess this will kind of kill like people's interest in this game. Like, should I get this game? Like, oh, they're kind of not caring about this. No new games.
Yeah.
And they're probably gonna half-ass whatever patches they're gonna do. Nah.
No, I didn't even think.
It kills the legs.
I honestly didn't even think about that with how much these games kind of are about the overarching story from game to game. Yeah, this could actually hurt the sales even more by announcing this.
Mm-hmm.
So, crazy.
Yep. Let's see. Let's go on to the next store. Done with that. This comes from Chris Pereira from GameSpot. Amid continued concerns of a possible hostile takeover by Vivendi, Ubisoft has reported its earnings for its most recent recent fiscal year, where it enjoyed record-high digital revenue. As for the outcome of its financials, digital sales were on the rise for Ubisoft 2016 to 2017 fiscal year, which ended on March 31st, 2017. Its digital segment made up of 50% of total sales during the year, and CEO Yves Guillemot boasted about both the success of Ubisoft Tom Clancy games and its live titles. Total annual sales were, €1,459.9 million, an increase of 4.7% compared with the prior year. Digital revenue accounted for €729.3 million of that. So yeah,
I thought that whole pause, I thought you were just like, what is that symbol? What is that?
No. I Googled it right before this. Just to make sure I got the right one. Since the beginning of calendar 2017, Ubisoft says it's the number one publisher worldwide in terms of physical and digital game sales on console and PC. Additionally, it claims Ghost Recon Wildlands is the year's top seller so far, while For Honor is number 2. Which, I think I've been hearing that a bunch of different places too.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Which is really weird. I wouldn't have guessed that.
Yeah. Most significant was the news concerning the current fiscal year, which runs through March 2018. In that period, Ubisoft confirmed it will release a new Assassin's Creed game, Far Cry 5, and The Crew 2, as well as South Park, The Fractured But Whole. The following year, which runs April 2018 to March 2019, will see the release of 4 AAA games. 3 of these are existing franchises, while the 4th is a new IP.
Interesting.
So yeah, Far Cry 5 officially confirmed.
It's leaking anyway. We might as well just tell
Yeah,
them all.
I like it how this is officially announced. Kind of slip in there, like, oh yeah, by the way, this is the game for.
You already know, but here.
Yeah.
I mean, I love that should be Ubisoft's policy from now on. It's like we're not even gonna try to hide anything for you because it's gonna leak anyway. Just
Kotaku already leaked this, but here you go.
Here's just a live video feed of our offices because you know what.
So, obviously, just talking about the sales they did for last year. That's really good. They're having a great start to the year, and based off the games they're talking about, like they have for this fiscal year, and what they said about the next one. They could have a hell of a E3 conference this year.
Yeah, incredibly impressive.
Just those alone, and then especially if they show whatever this new IP is, then
do that and announce maybe one or two of those existing franchises that come out the next year.
Yeah.
And
I haven't heard anything else about the Vivendi takeover. Have y'all?
I've been like somewhat keeping up with it, not that close, but I mean like it was like. It got worse. It was getting bad for a while, and then it kind of stalled. But then recently, they've started like buying more stock, and like they're like I think they're getting like dangerously close to an area where like there's some sort of threshold, like it's like 25% or something like that, or 35% or something, to where like basically it's a real real possibility that they could get taken over, which is. It's just kind of wild.
That is wild, especially after they're doing so good here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, to see this, like, you see this with, like, smaller developers sometimes with them getting, like, balled over and everything, but Ubisoft is, like, arguably, like, one of the biggest, if not the biggest.
The biggest third party, I would say.
Yeah. I mean, they even said that, yeah, it is, and it's kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, to hear, like, there's even been, like, there's sometimes the like top people at Ubisoft, they've it sounds like almost desperate pleas sometimes when they're like, guys, seriously help us. Like,
Well, I guess going off the hostile takeover thing, I find it weird just kind of when the circles we kind of listen to, like Ghost Recon and For Honor, the 1 and 2 top selling games this year.
Because you don't hear about them, and when you do, like, some of it's like, the other...
They're okay.
I think it just shows you when your game's not an exclusive, it helps sales.
There was part of this article, they were just talking about how Wildlands and Siege are both, like, still gaining players, which, I mean, I guess makes sense for Wildlands, but Siege has been out for so long. Their Tom Clancy titles are just doing phenomenal.
And then like they said like a similar like it was just kind of like a vague thing in the PR statement, so who knows? But I heard the same thing with Watch Dogs 2. That it was kind of just like slowly building more and more people, longer tail.
Yeah, that one I believe because more people were. I could see more people talking about it as time went on. Yeah. Maybe not necessarily at this point, but for at least a couple months after it came out, yeah, like so this game's actually good.
Ubisoft kind of seems like they're doing that a lot, like just games with longer tails, and I guess like a lot more people are buying For Honor than I'd seen. I played it, like I got a review copy sent to me for the daily game copy that I played, and like I felt like I was the only one who played that game. Like everyone I talked to doesn't even know what it is. Yeah. But then it's the number 2 selling game right now.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Whereas you can't go anywhere without hearing about.
Let's not forget Andromeda came out this year.
Ghost Recon Wildlands and For Honor beat Mass Effect. What world do we live in? Like, what is this?
So strange.
It's good for Ubisoft.
No, yeah, it's very good. Yeah, looking forward to their E3.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we can go to the E3 thing real quick. We'll skip the story and come back to it. This comes from Jonathan Dornbush from IGN. Ubisoft has confirmed the time and date of its E3 2017 press conference, falling in line with the company's previous yearly plans at the expo. The E3 2017 Ubisoft conference will be held in the Orpheum Theater on June 12th at 1 p.m. Pacific Time and 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Ubisoft has not announced the full lineup of games to expect at the show, but a tease for the next Assassin's Creed indicated it will be shown off during the annual Electronic Entertainment Expo. So, no surprises there. They get their normal time.
And I think they could. There's a chance they could have like one of the like most memorable. They could have a really strong Sure. I think last year they had like strong games. They just kind of ruined their conference by droning on about stuff way too long.
Yeah, their conference was crazy long.
It was like 2 hours long,
Yeah.
like more than that. It was
And,
crazy.
and what they showed was fine, but yeah, they didn't need all the stuff they did.
They always do like 40 minutes on like their dancing games and just
dance and
random
stuff,
crap. Yeah.
Which I guess, granted, it's insanely popular.
While I
but the
enjoyed
E3
it,
is not the right
Yeah.
setting for that, though.
and while I enjoyed it, definitely argue the South Park thing ran a little long.
Way too long. Like I remember watching, I was like, "This is really good. I'm really excited for South Park," and then it kept going
Yeah.
on for like 20 more minutes. And I'm like, "All right, dudes, I get it. I get it."
Yeah.
But if they just contain it down like Sony style and just go game, done for like a solid hour jam packed, then
Well, just because they're a third party, they'll definitely do more gameplay stuff and do less of the game thing because they less get the show.
less of them. But that style, that sort of like
Little-
very
focus a little more on
tight
that,
structured
yeah.
thing. Yeah.
And the next thing, keeping on the Ubisoft train. This comes from Alex Gillidoff from IGN. Following several delays, South Park: The Fractured But Whole will now be released on October 17th for PS4, Xbox One, and PC, Ubisoft has announced. Those who pre-order The Fractured But Whole will receive South Park: The Stick of Truth for free and exclusive in-game assistant, Tally. That free The Stick of Truth offer will be available until January 1st, 2018. And pre-ordering via select retailers will allow players to download and play the Stick of Truth immediately.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, I know people took advantage of this before from the last day. They were able to get it immediately, and then they canceled it, but they still had the game.
Oh, huh.
That's kind of
Yeah.
Might do that. Just kidding.
I mean, like if you're able to do it, you didn't do anything wrong. You really you didn't do
I mean, I
anything
guess you're
illegal.
paying like $5 for it, basically. Or can you give a refund?
I think it was like on Amazon and stuff, so yeah, you could just do the complete refund thing.
That's interesting.
So I might technically get this because I probably will pre-order this thing at some place.
Yeah.
And if I know like one of them particular place like is Amazon, I might do Amazon over Best Buy if I know I get the Stick of Truth immediately because why not?
Yeah.
But I think we can all agree, since they're actually like going for it and actually putting another release date on this, if they don't hit this, it's a problem.
Yeah.
Because they've
How many
already
has it had?
This is I guess it's technically the third one.
Nice.
Yeah. But I mean, and then the Stick of Truth was also this exact same thing. It was just delayed. Like, and delaying's fine, but just don't put a date on it until you're sure. And that's what I would hope that they would just like, if they say a date, you better hit the date this time.
Yeah. Well, this is like about a year later than the first date. Supposed to come out in December, then it's supposed to come out in late March. Or around then. I guess they didn't give an exact date. They did a general thing. And then, they said, it's going to come out this fiscal year. And now they announced the date.
And
so
that's another weird thing is they said this fiscal year that goes all the way, that went all the way to March of next year.
Yeah.
So I was like,
Good.
okay, so this game's going to be a year from now. And then now they say October. So that's weird to me. Like, they were like, I guess when they said that, they're like, yeah, this game could take anywhere from 3 months to 12 months. And then now, like, it's weird.
I think this is a good date. I guess you can argue that it's going to be in the middle of everything, but I think this game stands out enough to where it should be fine.
It's not a shooter or something.
And people are excited for this game. Like,
This really game is along word of mouth. It's good. It should have some legs.
Yeah.
And it's unique. And was mentioned though, thing I just read, they announced or released a new trailer with it that we watched beforehand.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Yeah, I liked it.
They have Jeff's money no matter what, so.
I mean, Stick of Truth is fantastic. I mean, the main downside was the combat, which was serviceable at best.
And it seems like they're making it better here.
Oh yeah, that's what I say. It's like they're changing completely, and it looks like it'll just be a lot better.
Yeah.
Should be. So, I'm excited. Yeah, day one for me. Okay. Now we're going to the final news story of the podcast. This past week, Nintendo announced and held another Nintendo Direct. This time focusing on ARMS. With a little spice of Splatoon in there for good measure.
Everyone's most anticipated game, right, Will?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Well, I will say before going into what they did, I'm not going to say everything they added because they showed us what they did before, but it was a very good direct as far as showing off this game, and from the responses I read, it did a really good job. Like, people are definitely a lot more excited this game and believe in this game more.
That's good.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I'm just going to go over some of the most important stuff that, well, I thought was important, the newest stuff. Yeah. See how you guys react.
You are podcast like Nintendo reference.
Yep. Okay, I'm just going to read off a couple of the new modes they added in there. First one, V-ball, which is pretty much volleyball, but you punch it and the ball explodes when it hits the ground on the other side.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah. Another one called Hoops, where it's like one-on-one basketball, but to score a basket, you throw your opponent into the hoop.
That is also fantastic. They're selling. Why was this not? Okay, go.
And then a 1-on-100 mode, where you're just fighting a bunch, like 100 computer things in a row.
Like little.
I feel like those
Yeah.
first two is like better than the actual game.
I mean, I could see them being one of those things that are like fun at first and get boring real quick if they didn't put enough into it. But
Yeah.
and
And
they sound fantastic.
yeah. Of course, there can be an arcade mode, which can be played by 1 or 2 players at the same time. And there are some other things. It's like a general kind of party mode where you do a one-on-one fight, and there's just going to be like random BS items. And of course, the regular fighting, so just more modes to add in. And also, before I go on, I just remembered right after the Direct, or a bunch of people released some previews for it because a bunch of people got to see this stuff and play it like last week.
Yeah.
Like an IGN and Game Explained and all that kind of stuff. A lot of people liked it a lot. Like, they really enjoyed their time with it. And I know, Darby, you're not going to like the sound of this, but people said, like, motion control is by far the best way to play this game. And, like, it's actually better than other uses of motion control. Like, the best they felt.
I mean, I could see it more in this game than Splatoon. Like,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
you're
I
actually
agree.
like, I mean, because the motion you're doing, like this is what they're doing. I could see, see, especially since the Switch's motion controls are like kind of more advanced than like really previous stuff. I still stand behind. I don't like it in Splatoon. I mean, that's just my opinion. But I can see that. I want to try both things in ARM, but I can see that more.
In ARM, you might be able to try that in ARMS very soon.
Yes, I will.
Okay. Like Splatoon 2 and Splatoon before, ARMS is offering a free trial periods to try out the game and get a taste of what it's like before launch. But instead of a global test fire, these free demos will naturally be called Global Test Punch. The first blocks of time will be allocated throughout the weekend of May 26th, 28th, and a second block on June 2nd to 4th. And they released all the times. Like, I think the first one is like for us next Friday at 8:30 Eastern time. So if we're not busy, we should try that.
Yeah, we should. You did the Splatoon one. Did it work pretty well at Connect?
Oh yeah, it did really well. So, and yeah, we'll talk about it later. I don't have work Friday night, so we can come here and try that out.
Yeah,
for sure.
Okay, we'll have some impressions on
that.
Yeah,
and yeah, I won't bring it up here, but they announced the demo things for later. We'll talk about that later. Okay. And they also announced, also like Splatoon, and we mentioned this earlier, how they're going to do updates for the game. In the future, Nintendo will release free software updates that add new fighters, stages, and arms to the game. These free updates will occur after the game launches, so watch for additional details. See, this is the kind of thing it's good that they're doing.
You could always use more arms.
Yes.
Oh.
So, I like they're doing the Splatoon / Overwatch approach to this.
No, and that worked really well for Splatoon because it's like, especially when me and you were playing it like pretty often, it was like every time we go in there was a new map, and it was like, okay, cool. It felt like there was something new every single time.
There are already so many arms in this game, and there's only 10 characters. Only 10 characters, but they're unique with all the different arm combinations. It doesn't sound like it shouldn't get boring, and there are lots of stuff to do with it.
Yeah.
So, it's like they're more characters in a way than they actually are.
Yeah.
And them adding more is, of course, great.
I do hope they add more characters because, like...
Or, I mean, they said they are.
Yeah, I mean, like, substantially, a decent amount and kind of fast because, while, like, the customizing that is nice, I do kind of like in Overwatch and other games, like, I mean, Overwatch is the most of the one I was thinking of. Like, I like how there's kind of a variety of different characters, even separated from the moveset and gameplay-wise, there's just a variety of because you kind of relate with the characters.
Yeah, like character designs and stuff.
Yeah, and kind of their designs, their quirky things they say, all that other stuff. I kind of like when there's a variety of those.
And Yeah, again, there's a general low number, but I think they're doing a good job with that so far with these character designs.
Yeah, no.
I guess you haven't seen the new ones.
Not the brand new ones. No.
Yeah. I'll show them to you after this, but we'll talk about them real quick. With this, they announced the last lead characters that are going to be in the base roster of the game. First one, Kid Cobra, which is pretty much a snake man.
It's a kid and a squid snake.
Yeah.
Squid?
And I found his backstory kind of funny. Apparently, the reason he's entering the ARMS tournament is to get people to notice, because he likes to do live streaming.
So he's trying to promote his Twitch channel?
Pretty much.
Aren't we
I
all?
figure that's relatable.
I mean, like, yeah, same, actually.
Next one is called Bite and Bark. There's like a robot guy. It's like a cop that has a robot canine companion. So
Is it a robot?
yeah.
Because I saw that it's spelled BYTE.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smart.
Bite.
That's clever.
Bark.
Yep. I'm interested to see how this character is balanced, just because it has the little dog companion to do extra stuff to mess with people.
Yeah.
Like it attacks on its own.
Like, you don't command the dog to attack, it just attacks.
From what I understand, no.
OP, please nerf.
Yeah. And last one is Twintel, which she uses her hair as her arms to fight instead. And
Nice.
she has this mechanic to when the punches are coming towards her, she can slow down the time around it, try to dodge better. Looks like.
That's cool.
Yeah, so each of these characters have unique powers. I forgot what Kid Cobra's exactly.
I mean, like, I know full well that I'm going to be eating my words in very, very short amount of time. Because, like, I recognize, like, there's actually, like, a good, like, with all the customization, all this other stuff, there's actually a lot of depth to this game. And I think I'm going to like it. It's just so easy to make fun of.
Oh, no.
It's so easy.
I mean, and like we've talked about before, everyone, when they first saw the Nintendo Switch event, were like, what is this?
Yeah.
Then once we saw more people playing more and they started explaining, it's like, oh, okay, we see where they're coming from this game and see where the quality is and the depth and stuff.
Yeah.
Sorry, what were you about to say?
No, I was gonna say, like, this is Nintendo developed, right?
Yeah, this is the Mario Kart team.
Gotcha.
So,
So ARMS will be in Super Smash Brothers. Maybe.
yeah.
Decent chance.
I mean, as long as it doesn't bomb before they put it in or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it seems like there's, especially after this, there's a decent amount of hype for this
I
game.
can see for the Switch, like, a deluxe Smash Bros. With, like, Splatoon and ARMS.
I'm for that.
Like, yeah.
I mean, just based on what I've seen, they can do interesting moves that with an ARMS character.
Yeah.
Like different attacks or, well, different arms.
Probably
different abilities.
Big range, I'm sure.
Yeah. So, yeah. And last thing in the Direct they showed, I guess they partly put this to make people more enticed to watch the Direct, but they put a Splatoon 2 story trailer in it, which the official description of the story mode from Nintendo explains that Callie, of Squid Sisters fame, has gone missing and is up to you, with the help of Marie, to search for Callie and the great Zapfish while battling against the Octarian army.
You sound like a crazy person when
Reading our fan fiction.
I mean, yeah, they're probably plenty for this game. But yeah, I'm definitely hyped for this because I can't remember. I know I've told this to Darby a bunch. I don't know if I've said it on the podcast. The story mode for Splatoon 1 is fantastic. It's kind of in a way its own game. Like, it's a 3D platformer shooter thing. It works really well. And it seems like, based on the trailer, they're expanding on it.
Yeah, I was kind of pleasantly surprised by how much it looks like there are, like, a lot of platforming elements and kind of boss fights and different, like, weird things in this to make it, like, it kind of looks more than your typical kind of, like, almost fighting game story, which is what I would
shooter
expect
story?
from it. Yeah, shooter story, you know. Yeah. Like, I would expect it to be just, like, a little thing that kind of teaches you the mechanics.
It kind of does that too, but it does it in a crazier way.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, since my Wii U's here, maybe you could try if you want to do this Splatoon.
I should have tried that maybe before Splatoon 2. When does Splatoon 2 come out?
July 17th, 21st, something around there. Right. So, less than 2 months, and I should probably definitely be getting this game day one. Not shortly after. I am head for this game.
Well, alright. I believe that's all for news stuff.
Yep.
So, for the main topic, we're going to talk about E3. Even though we're going to be talking about this more in a few weeks, we're going to actually do, like,
Or a betting special thing.
Yeah, we're gonna do more like specific stuff. But for right now, we're just gonna kind of talk about what we're like, what we want out of like the different conferences and what we want from everyone. So I guess
not what we think is gonna happen.
no, that's to come later with points attached to them. And
Yep. This is about dreams that will definitely get crushed.
And I might talk like about some of like what like they need from these conferences. Like I was talking with Microsoft. I think obviously the thing they need to do, the number one priority and everything, is sell the Scorpio. You need to not only present the Scorpio and like the specs and show everything or whatever, but you need to have a reason why people should care about this and why people should buy it. And I don't know what form that comes in. I think games. I think they need to come out with something we're not expecting, some big exclusive game or something. It's not going to be Halo like we talked about last podcast. But I don't know. What do you guys
For Microsoft?
want from Microsoft?
It's kind of what you do. I want them to show off the Scorpio. I kind of want, even though there's like 0% chance I'm getting a Scorpio or an Xbox One like anytime soon, I want them to make me want it. So then that's more likely more people want it and they can stay competitive because competition's good for this industry.
Yeah.
We don't want Sony to just go so far ahead where they can get cocky and just do whatever they want.
Yeah,
like
that
Microsoft
idea.
did.
Like, I'm not really interested in the Scorpio, but I would like to see what kind of things they're doing to go forward in the next console generation and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think that would be cool.
Because I think there's a chance for the Scorpio to be something to give Microsoft the leg up they've been needing for like multiple years now. I mean, I think there's also a chance that it just ends up being a giant like dud and that they spend a bunch of money on. I think it could go either way with this, but I don't know what the answer because we've been talking about like the landscape of like Xbox games seems to be getting narrower and like smaller and smaller. Like games are getting canceled. They're like, we're not doing a Halo right now. We're not doing this right now. It's in like a while back, like Fable Legends and stuff getting canceled. It just seems like one by one everything's falling.
Oh yeah. Just fun fact real quick. Apparently Microsoft has recently renewed the Scalebound trademark.
I did hear about that, which is super weird.
Yeah.
That is strange.
So maybe they're going to try to give Scalebound a Scalebound.
I mean, that could be they just want to keep it around just in case, like in the future, they decide to. I mean, a lot of companies will get trademarks they never use. I mean, it doesn't always mean something, but But I mean, I think just games. It's hard to predict or hard to think about a Microsoft conference just because there's not much to go on right now.
Yeah.
But I just think they have to focus on more than just the power of the Scorpio because I don't think that will be enough in itself to sell it. Because I think you just go to PC at that point.
I wonder if they'll focus on any like Oculus parts or anything like that. I don't know.
There's another possibility. Yeah, like they need something like that to get them up there. And I think we should have this topic another time. But it's like VR needs another kick like right now. Yeah. It's kind of crazy how I never expected that to go down as much as it did that quickly.
I mean, I think people that have them love them, but it's just like nothing has come out since launch.
Well, I mean, apparently there's been a steady amount of games, but they're just ones no one cares about.
Yeah.
But no like big games. Yeah. And it's not like it sold poorly. I mean, like for what I think everyone was expecting with how expensive it was, I think it sold pretty well, especially PSVR, especially.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, speaking of PSVR, Sony. I think Sony is more of obviously it's complete contrast to Microsoft. They're the ones that has everything to lose. They have a giant list of games that's upcoming that we're talking about. They have so many different things to talk about, whether it's PSVR, whether it's all what's Insomnia doing, what's Sucker Punch doing, what's all these other ones doing. So what do you specifically what do you think makes a Sony conference that holds up to last year or improves on last year's?
Sucker Punch's game for sure. I'm gonna be absolutely shocked if they do not show Sucker Punch's game.
Man, that's true. They've been gone a while.
Yeah, and you think about it, most of their big studios just either release something or we know it's coming.
I mean, that's the only studio we don't know.
So as far as a new exclusive that's first party, That's like the only one they have in their pocket that's just kind of let out.
Yeah.
The rest of it, they'll be. I mean, I expect them to show God of War, and maybe a general release area.
Man, I'd love to see God of War stuff.
Yeah, maybe a little more Spider-Man. Maybe.
Yeah.
That one I'm not as sure about. Detroit, Days Gone.
I want to see those. I mean, when it comes to talking about, I think like that's what should happen. I think it has to happen, like you said, because I think it's all these other. It's a good time for it because all their other exclusives they've already announced like a good while ago, like last E3.
And unless it's in development hell, there's no way that Sucker Punch game's not decently far along, and they're not going to save that for PSX or announce it randomly on the blog.
I mean, Second Son was 2014, so
yeah,
3 years.
Yeah, I mean, even if it doesn't come out like early next year, it's the thing.
Yeah,
I can't see them not showing it.
At least mention it. It's crazy that we have heard nothing. It's just
we've heard about Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah, that's true. That's crazy.
Oh yeah, I don't really expect to see that at all.
No,
I
don't.
Yeah,
expect it
I expect to see maybe a little bit of Lost Legacy. Maybe just a little something like, hey, this exists and coming out in a couple months.
Definitely some Days Gone.
Yeah. And here's the thing, though. We're talking about this last year. A lot of it, why we liked it so much, because there were surprises and new stuff. It sounds like what we're talking about now, except for Sucker Punch, is just kind of a retread.
Yeah. I mean, like, but
which is not bad, but
yeah. I mean, like, you need to like kind of retouch a few things. I mean, like, because God of War we saw once at E3 last year.
Which is an announcement.
Anything else. So, like, show a little bit more of that because you got our attention definitely with that.
They need to. I haven't seen that in a year.
Yeah. It's really, as far as I know, that's the only thing, right?
Yeah.
It was that last.
Yeah, there might have been a little like update thing at some point that people saw, but I don't think there's any like new footage. I just had a thought: the Horizon single player DLC.
Yeah. That would be a good one. And like you could show it and then release date like very soon. Boom. Go.
Or a little teaser because that. It probably takes a little work to do that for a game like Horizon. They're trying to do like a single player story thing.
Yeah.
So
maybe some
tease it at least.
Detroit Become Human.
Yeah, and there's things like Detroit. I think everyone's already excited for. Like, I honestly, actually, with Detroit, I don't even know if you really need to see anything more because like you saw a pretty expansive thing in that like loop where it's going. I'd kind of rather just like unless it's coming out this fall or something.
That's what I mean. Like, if anything, what they should. I mean.
Like, I think
that or Days Gone has to come out the end of this year, if not both.
Detroit's a game I think you could risk showing too much for.
Yeah.
Days Gone,
I
think it might be smart to show more because that one left a bad taste in a lot.
It was just like one scene, basically. They need to show more of what the story's about.
And like most of the response and like talk about Days Gone has been kind of negative or at most just kind of like mediocre. So I think they need to come at it with a different approach this time. I don't know what that is, but I think they need to show because right now there's no way I'm buying that game.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not interested at all.
Well,
I'm really not.
Also, even if they show it and turn out to be amazing, it's just not generally my type of game. So I'm probably not going to get it anyway.
I mean, unless if everyone says it's amazing and stuff, maybe, but like I don't have any hype for it really at all. Like the E3 stuff didn't do much. For me. But I know I'm not alone.
But going back to Detroit real quick, I feel like they should do a little trailer, but don't show too much because, like you said, that's one they can easily go too far with and give either the release date or general time.
Yeah.
And then they can just pop it out later.
Only other thing, this one's kind of a weird one, but do you think / do you want to see something for Dreams in this?
I think Dreams.
If it's even a game.
I feel like it's dead, man.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
I also don't really want to see it, even if it's not dead.
I don't even know.
I don't want to see time given to that. Like.
Yeah, in the Sony conference when there's so much to go on right now.
Yeah. That game was doomed to begin with.
I just and that's the thing. Like, I just want to see Sony continue to use their time wisely, and I don't want them to show these games too much. I want to see some things I'm not expecting. I want to see some VR stuff because
let's say there's gonna be some VR.
I really want to see them touch on that.
I wonder what they could even surprise us with now, though. I feel like we know.
Yeah, exactly. Like Sucker Punch is about it.
Spent most of their surprises.
I mean, it's like as far as big things to surprise people with, but as games we know. Final Fantasy VII Remake, Kingdom Hearts 3.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
They have to show
Spider-Man, God of War.
Shinmu.
Like we haven't seen since then.
Spider-Man barely even had a trailer, so hopefully some
gameplay. It doesn't even have a title. It's weird. Or I guess God of War. maybe doesn't need to outlive it.
I think they're just God of War is kind of like a reboot. Yeah, I think that literally is just called God of War. Spider-Man, yeah, we don't have a title. Yeah, that's a good point because they could just do a trailer with more stuff and then give the official title and 2018.
Yeah.
Get people hyped.
Yeah.
I wonder. What do you think is the next exclusive that's going to come out for Sony?
The ones we know.
I think
Days Gone or Detroit.
I think Days Gone is this fall. I feel
it's just
that's-
weird.
Yeah,
that we've only
I definitely.
one slice.
Yeah, I definitely feel like Days Gone is this fall. The problem is, like you were saying, I don't know when Detroit's supposed to be. I can see it coming out like September, but I can also see it coming out next year. You just don't know with that game because we haven't seen that much.
Yeah. Well, we should move on to let's talk about Nintendo. This is more Jeff's wheelhouse, and so it's going to be a direct. Obviously, it's not like a.
Yeah, they're calling it like a showcase or something. Yeah, direct.
Yeah, like they'll have they'll have their treehouse stuff and all that, everything. But from the direct, like, what do you want to see? I think Nintendo is kind of the most interesting, the most like kind of wild card here because they're like the only one with a new console, and like everything's changing with Nintendo right now. So, what do you want to see from?
Well, this is something obviously happening. I want to be blown away by whatever Super Mario Odyssey things they show. They need to blow people away with that. That's that's the one thing they definitely need to do. If it's true, I want to see that Mario Rabbids thing. Just to see what it is to get it out there, especially if the rumor's true and it comes out like September, August, whatever it was. The rumor was. If it comes out then, definitely. I don't want them to spend a crazy amount of time on ARMS or Splatoon because we've seen enough that they're coming out soon. We don't need it.
Especially, and this direct makes me think they're not like.
Yeah. Oh, with ARMS, I can't. I mean, at most it'll probably be a little trailer thing coming out this week, just to remind people
I'm sure
stay
they'll
with is
mention
fine.
it,
Yeah,
but you don't need a show.
Maybe show off a little bit of Splatoon, like maybe a new game mode.
Yeah.
I think that's fine.
Is Smash Brothers even a possibility?
Yes, I believe it's a possibility. I'll be surprised if it doesn't happen.
I really want them to. I want them to have Smash Bros. And like 2 new characters or something like crazy that was like, oh my god, so everyone can get hyped about it, and maybe a release date or something.
Yeah.
Like, I think maybe Smash Bros. This fall or something, or maybe like
that'd be crazy.
It would be awesome, and because like it is like positive as everything's been for the Switch so far, which has been like above everyone's expectations, obviously sales and everything now, but we are getting to that point where we were looking ahead and worried about where we had Zelda, we had Mario Kart, and like we do have Splatoon and ARMS like right here, whatever. But those are obviously lesser. And after them, we're getting into the point where it's like it's starting to be like a more dry area, or at least an area where other games might eclipse them. Mm-hmm. Like right now, I think Mario Kart 8 it was like it sold the most of like any game last month, and it was only out for like a few days. It was out for like 3 days of April
on the Switch.
on a new console, and it outsold every other game of the month.
Dang.
That's insane.
Yeah.
But and Splatoon's ARMS aren't going to do that much. There's going to be other games.
Maybe not that one. Splatoon's going to do really well.
Yeah, but there's going to be other games that start to compete with it more, and so I think the Smash Bros. Bomb could be a huge thing too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, they also have for this year. Well, Mario Rabbids, thing that's true. Smaller game, but not every game's going to be a Mario Kart, Splatoon, or Mario. They have Fire Emblem Warriors. That's something. Hyrule Warriors sold well, so and Fire Emblem sells well. I want to see Xenoblade 2. I want them to let us know if it's coming out this year.
How about a Bayonetta 2? No, 3.
That'd be interesting.
I don't even know.
The biggest thing I want to see from Nintendo is things that I'm not expecting. Like, we're talking about Smash Bros. And all this other stuff, we're
mainly talking about Smash Bros. It's a port, and then we're talking about stuff that we already know exists.
I really want to see something that that makes me say like, oh, they must have been saving this for E3. Like they didn't say this at the announcement that they wanted to say, like Metroid.
I mean, I'd love to. Unironically say maybe like Metroid, because Retro hasn't done anything in a while. Like that's
Other M, was that the last one?
Yes.
And even,
we don't speak of Other M.
And even if like a new Metroid doesn't like get into like the mindset of like just the casual audience, like there are so many people that are going to lose their mind if that happens.
Yeah, here's the thing though.
Fans.
I feel like Nintendo definitely has the stuff lined up for the casual audience. So go for the more hardcore with Metroid because when you said like Smash Bros. This year, if they did release it, as far as like more casual multiplayer stuff, that's Splatoon, Mario Kart, Smash Bros. And ARMS if it's good. That's a lot of like casual multiplayer things. They have a Minecraft on there, which is going to sell great no matter what, and it can appeal to people who may already have it because of taking on the go, but is not as gimped as like on the iPhone or something.
Right.
So, yeah, they need to probably do more hardcore thing, and Metroid's the way to go because that's what everyone's been asking you for a long time. Yeah. Oh, also Virtual Console.
Yeah, that needs to come. Yeah. It should have already been here, but it needs to come
with Mother 3 day one.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I mean like people want it so bad.
No, if they drop Virtual Console with Mother 3 that day, let's go crazy with that day because we're just talking dreams, and then announce a new Metroid. They won easily to the hardcore gamers.
And that's another thing. Yeah, like it's not like the majority of people aren't gonna care, but you're gonna get like. There are so many people that's all they're going to be talking about. Sony could do whatever they want to do. Microsoft could do whatever they want to do. People are going to be like, no, Mother 3's here. Because there are people who care so much about that. Mm-hmm. And even a new Mother/Earthbound or whatever. That's even another possibility.
I'm also interested to see if they do anything with Pokemon. Like
Switch Pokemon?
Yeah, Switch Pokemon. Normally Pokemon's not announced at E3 though, so just don't know. Normally they would have announced it by now, but
if we're just talking about dreams, that'd be cool for people.
And if they can talk Game Freak into it, the Pokemon company or whoever's technically in charge of all this stuff, into doing it, that'd be huge. Like saying, Pokemon game on the Switch, we now have a home console mainline Pokemon game. Yeah.
All right. Well, moving on. I don't think we'll have too much to say, but EA. Any actual like hopes?
I even like EA games.
Dead Space 4.
Just have a conference.
That's what I want.
Well, yeah.
I love Dead Space, but also I think most of the EA stuff that we would be talking about is probably Star Wars related.
Oh, yeah.
So
Battlefront stuff.
Amy Hennig's new Star Wars game.
That I want to see. Yeah.
That needs to be there. I mean, we've seen nothing of that game.
And that was a long time ago.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
The only EA game I ever bought, I can't remember, is Unraveled. So
only?
Oh, maybe not the only, but the only one in a long ass time.
I'm about to say, as a kid, they made like all of the games you probably played. They made like all the like crappy games that you bought as a kid, not knowing they were crappy games.
I can't remember. Let me put it this way: I haven't bought an EA game other than a long time that I can.
You bought Madden games?
In a long time, Darby.
Oh, okay.
I haven't bought one since like 10.
I mean, like I just. Honestly, what I want from EA is to make a conference that doesn't make me want to fall asleep. Because the last conference...
So that's the main thing with me. Yeah.
I mean, like, even games aside, just the conference itself was just...
That was the worst conference I've ever seen in my life.
It was terrible, yeah.
So bad.
And I mean, like, and it's not even like I don't really care about FIFA, but it's like it's not even just like I understand a lot of EA games I don't care about, but it's just like the flipping back and forth between the two things. It's just business dudes in suits just rambling on and for so long. It's
I mean, yeah, I feel like all the stuff that hardcore gamers would care about is Star Wars related now.
Yeah. Amy Hennig's the biggest thing.
Yes. So what we got for EA: Star Wars, be good and not put us to sleep. That's all we ask for.
Well, I was gonna say BioWare games are published by EA, but I guess they're not. They might show something. I don't know.
That Project Dylan or whatever.
Maybe Project Dylan.
Show up though. Well,
Dylan, please.
How about Bethesda? Because this is year 3 of the Bethesda conference, and they're like pumping it up a bunch. So they showed that picture. I don't know if you saw like the theme park thing or whatever with all the different stuff.
I mean, I guess realistically, Elder Scrolls isn't like out of the question.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, we're talking about dreams. Yes, like I would that would be my number one. Like, please show something. I'm not expecting it, but
I mean, what Fallout was fall 2015.
Yeah.
So I mean, like a fall 2018 would be reasonable.
But I feel like with Bethesda, they would wait till next year to announce that if it's
Yeah, I mean that's fair. That's what they did with Fallout.
Pray DLC.
Yeah.
But,
I wonder. I mean, for them to have a whole conference, they have to have some games coming out.
But that's the thing. I mean, it's an interesting thing. People have been saying that the last 2 years, and then they surprise people.
Yeah, because I was saying the same thing this time last year. I honestly didn't expect Bethesda to do another conference the second year.
Yeah,
I thought that was really just about Fallout mostly.
Yeah.
And then they did, and I was like, okay, all right, whatever.
I mean,
and it was
they had Dishonored and Prey and
They had like Quake stuff. Which did that ever come out? Like, they talked.
Oh,
about
they had like Doom and.
They had Doom, yeah, which was huge. And if that Quake game didn't come out, that's definitely something.
Yeah, that's true.
They talked about Elder Scrolls Online last year. I don't know if they're still supporting that. Like that
Probably
could be something. But also, like, I think we're definitely going to get something we haven't heard about from Bethesda's E3. I think there's going to be some sort of new IP.
I forget that they publish more than I really think about because I wonder what else they're doing.
Well, they're quickly kind of becoming one of the biggest, like publishers and developers out there.
Mm-hmm. And again, if they're doing this, they gotta have something like they had the last few years. They impress people.
Yeah.
Oh, Wolfenstein. That's that'll be there.
Yeah. For sure.
Evil Within, maybe a sequel.
Evil Within 2. That's something I've remembered for a pretty good long while.
That would be a good one.
Wolfenstein and Evil Within 2 will be there. So, I guess they have enough.
Yeah. I mean, not like their conferences are the biggest or the longest or anything. Like
they just chock them full of cool stuff though. Usually.
Yeah.
That one's more for Bethesda fans, which makes sense. Like going more in depth on.
Yeah.
Games.
It's more of a smaller thing.
I kind of remember something I felt bad. Last year they did the whole Dishonored 2 thing, and then it kind of got forgotten when it came out.
Yeah, and apparently from all accounts it was
a good game, really good game.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't, and the comforting thing was I didn't like it. Dishonored 1, I actually played a lot of it, and I just didn't like it. But I heard from other people who also didn't like it. They're like, this game is really, really good. It just got forgotten. It got buried.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. It's kind of a similar thing for Prey right now? Like
I haven't actually heard much about the sales, but
I feel like I don't know. I feel like I haven't heard much, and from what I heard, it wasn't the most positive. But that was like in one European thing.
I know like IGN got crap because they gave the PC version a 4.
Yeah, we talked about that last week.
Okay, yeah.
With the whole thing. But I don't know what much else to expect about Bethesda, and I guess we already kind of talked about it. But Ubisoft, I think, obviously, Assassin's Creed, Far Cry
5.
I think those two are probably like the beginning or end or something like.
They got it set up perfectly to have a great way to start it and a great way to end it with those two.
Mm-hmm. And I'm expecting hopefully full trailers and stuff from.
We're expecting these games to come out this year, so
yeah,
they need to show. They'll probably show gameplay for both.
I think my dream for Ubisoft is that they show a new Splinter Cell because they've had Siege 2015 or 2015 was it Siege?
I can't remember.
Or 16, I don't know. And then Ghost Recon came, so it should be. And Division was in between that as well, so.
So if it's like yearly,
if they're doing the yearly thing, one would hope that it's Splinter Cell. That's probably my favorite series, so I would love to get a new one.
Yeah.
Well, my hope is since we now have a release date and another trailer, they don't show too much South Park.
Yeah.
I feel like most people who are going to get it are kind of slow at this point. Maybe they show a little more of the battle system, but as far as story stuff, don't do any more of that. Yeah. This kind of game is more fun to experience yourself.
Mm. I want to see some of obviously the Far Cry and the Assassin's Creed, the big things like that. But I want to see some of their smaller things and maybe some of
one of those what do they call it? Ubisoft Arts things, Child of Light
Arts or whatever. Yeah, the kind of more indie games. I guess they just they're kind of funding indie studios.
Child of Light or Children of Light or whatever it is.
Yeah,
Child of Light.
I'd like to see them be able to, especially if they're gonna make their conference insanely long like they did last year. You might as well pump up some of these other games like that. And another thing, I want to see. Ubisoft kind of seems like one of the few third parties that is kind of comfortable with working with Nintendo. Even for the Wii U, they did sometimes. And now that the Switch is actually building up, I'd like to see if they're doing I'd like to see if they're gonna
the Rabbids game.
That's the biggest one. But I want to see if they're doing anything else, any other just add-on stuff with the Switch or smaller games for the Switch. Mm-hmm. I want to see if that's gonna be part of their conference, which. I think if you're able to Ubisoft is developing a game with Mario in it, you can be sure they're going to talk about it.
Maybe not because the Ubisoft conference can be for the Nintendo,
or it's either going to be either their conference or Nintendo's or both. might be a bust.
I mean, yeah, I just kind of feel like Nintendo will be like, no, we're going to announce this at our conference. That kind of thing. And then maybe you'll be at the Ubisoft booth.
Right.
Or kind of promoted there.
I actually wonder if Siege 2 is a possibility with how good that game did. But
When did that come out?
I think it was fall of 2015. So
Might
be a little soon. But I mean, because they're still putting out DLC, I believe. So
December 1st, 2015.
yeah.
Well, also moving on because we're running out of time, but Square Enix.
You know my answer.
The Avengers game.
Yeah. Avengers and Guardians of the Galaxy. It sounds like
made that Tomb Raider game.
Oh yeah, Shadow.
Yeah,
of the
that's Shadow of the
Tomb Raider.
Yeah. Who's developing that again now? Or it was
Crystal Dynamics.
No, they're not anymore. It's someone else
Eidos
now. It's
Montreal.
Eidos Montreal. That was it. Yeah, I think. Yeah, those would be the biggest ones.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Jeff obviously wants Kingdom Hearts. I think that game's too far away. I think that
It's
game's
weird that they
Give me
put,
something.
It's weird that they put Deus Ex and Hitman on hold, like two of their bigger franchises.
because especially Hitman is a little more.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Hitman's not even on hold; it's just gone. So
The developer is not with Square anymore, which is so weird.
Well, I guess I don't know where they show up, but they'll probably do a little something for Final Fantasy 12.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. Probably not too much, but
Yeah. I don't know if it necessarily be at a conference, but Square Enix doing another thing because they do that sometimes. Has that been announced? I don't know.
What now?
Is Square Enix doing their own little thing? Because sometimes they do that.
I'm not sure if they're doing their own.
I haven't seen any news.
They'll
about
at
it.
least be have games on the floor and be
Yeah,
at
yeah.
other people's conferences and stuff.
Oh, well, I'd like to see that Project Octopath Traveler thing, whatever that was announced at the
Oh
Switch thing.
my gosh!
See what that actually is.
I mean, what they showed looks really...
Yeah, it does. The name's just funny to laugh at.
Yeah. Do the real name. Do that. I guess that'd be at the Nintendo thing.
Yeah.
Show that off more.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that.
That'd be really cool. Alright, well, I don't really have too much else besides, that for Square Enix. But Namco Bandai... I mean, Namco Bandai is kind of like a blind spot for me. But what's the Code Vein? Is that Namco Bandai? So I think
It's about
maybe see
time. They
something.
might show new Tales game. No, I really
Even though that might be more Japan. I don't know if
I
that
know.
was an E3 thing.
Yeah, I know. I did think they said something about releasing a Tales game on the Switch by the end of this fiscal year, or maybe they meant next one. I can't remember which. So unless it's a remake, we should be getting new Tales news at some
But
point.
I want to see Code Vein gameplay if they have it. I don't know how far along they are on that game, honestly. But if they're far enough to have gameplay, that'd be cool because we've seen the tone of it now, and I'd like to actually see more.
I'm forgetting.
This is a Bandai Namco, I guess, technically. But we should have mentioned this for PlayStation. But Bloodborne 2 is almost a lock.
That's gonna be there. That's 100% gonna be there.
We were like, what new games can they show? Oh, Bloodborne 2.
Yeah.
The obvious one.
And then let's see.
And
Ni no Kuni 2 will be Bandai Namco. That should
okay.
be on here somewhere.
see, I
It was at E3 last year, and I haven't really seen anything since then. So it's probably time for a release date.
I don't really know what all.
New dot hack, please.
Yeah, I guess if we're talking about dreams, Jeff.
I like dreams. I like the dream. They might show this off somewhere. Nothing I'm excited about, but Dragon Ball Z Universe 2 coming to the Switch this fall. So
How long ago was that? Which one was that?
that's the one that came out last year.
Oh, okay.
And I think it actually comes with the first game as well. At least its story, so...
Some giant monkeys in that one, too?
Yes. You fight them anyway. I don't think you play as them.
Then I don't want
Oh, wait.
What's the point?
Wait. Oh, you can play 2 players with 1 Joy-Con each. And motion controls. Doesn't sound great.
So Capcom's the last one we have in here. Yes, Resident Evil, if they're having...
Resident Evil DLC, yeah.
Yeah, Resident Evil DLC.
I'll be at the Sony conference.
Obvious one, yeah, it probably will.
And, yeah, that could be the VR section.
Yeah, it should be. I mean, that's
Or
definitely a way
kind
to
of
New.
lead into the VR.
And then there's Marvel vs. Capcom. Or when does Marvel vs. Capcom come out?
I don't know.
August, September, one of those.
Oh,
September.
really?
Probably show some there and probably have it like playable on the show floor and stuff.
Well, this isn't something I necessarily care about, but it's just people's dreams in general. Do Devil May Cry.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Yeah, with old Dante to make everyone happy.
I'd be surprised if they didn't go that route.
Yeah.
Also, a true Dragon's Dogma sequel would be sweet. It's a good game.
Monster Hunter on the Switch.
Again, Japanese thing a lot,
Yeah.
but there's a chance for that.
Yeah.
That just might be more of a TGS type thing or something.
Mm-hmm.
But
Might happen.
I don't really know with Capcom. Capcom's just
I
kind of
don't
like
really know.
Mega Man.
Yeah.
you just like go through the same few, but
And then you normally cry. They'll probably show some kind of like Street Fighter DLC thing.
are they still making
I believe
Street Fighter
so.
DLC? It's crazy how like no one bought that game.
I guess, I mean, we don't have it on here because WB isn't exactly a huge third-party studio, but the new Rocksteady game, I'm so excited about whatever the heck they're making.
There's like the obvious thing. There's been obvious people have been asking questions. There's been hints like Justice League game maybe.
Oh my gosh, I'd be so excited.
It would be pretty crazy.
Oh.
I think everyone and they know it too. Everyone wants them to be doing something DC, some other DC character with us.
Even if they're not doing something DC, then you would have to assume that WB Games is, and I mean they could very possibly be at E3 as well. So one of those two is working on something.
If you have those characters and you see what Marvel's doing, like reaching out to Insomniac and Square Enix and all these type of things, like you have it, so make a move. And you're already working with Rocksteady, and they're already such a good developer.
Yeah.
I would stay there if Rocksteady still wants to do it, which, who knows. But
I mean, you haven't heard anything from WB Games since Arkham Origins. That was forever ago.
yeah.
And then Rocksteady obviously hasn't done anything since Arkham Knight, or Arkham VR, I guess, technically. So, yeah, they've been working on something for a while. I mean, there's been rumors that the Suicide Squad game got canceled and stuff like that. But,
I want a Green Arrow game.
yes, agreed.
Like, heck, that's definitely has potential to be fantastic.
Yeah.
Taking stuff from, the Arkham games and making it more for Green Arrow, maybe a slightly lighter tone
Yeah.
for Green Arrow.
In Rocksteady's hands, I think that's good hands for this DC stuff. Like,
Yeah. The only thing is why a Justice League game would be hype. It's one of those things with all the characters. Like, how would you get it done exactly?
Yeah.
The same thing I'm worried about with the Avengers. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Even if they just did a new Batman game, like, I'd be so down.
And even if it was like a Batman game, like you only played as Batman, but all the Justice League is in it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but
Like they could be other characters in the story, and they could fight with you, but you just play Batman.
I'd be
Even
okay
that
with
could
that.
work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't really played all the Batman like Arkham games. I don't know if it would be in the same universe or you'd have to just completely do a new thing or something.
You could do
But
it.
you might be able to just introduce it into that. And I also don't know how Arkham Knight ends and lends itself to that, but that could be a possibility. Well, any other E3 hopes and dreams?
There'll probably some I'll think of like 5 minutes afterwards. So.
We still have, we'll have the next few weeks.
Yeah.
We still, it's still like 3 weeks away or something like that.
Yeah, I know.
Quickly counting down though. Alright, well, if not, I believe that's all we got. So thank you everyone for listening. You can find Will on Twitter at JW_outlaw.
Correct.
JW_outlaw. I'm at Darby Hallman 1, very creative.
What's a
You
Twitter?
can find You can find Jeff out on the streets.
LinkedIn.
Check out Jeff's LinkedIn. Hit him up.
I don't have a LinkedIn yet.
Alright, thank you so much for listening.
Yep, thank you. Oh yeah, the camera's there.
Yeah.